His dominance right at the moment, and that goals against average keeps tumbling down. Paul Dvorsky's got the red stripe. Andy McElman and Jean Morin. They are the officials handling tonight's hockey game.
Now Mike Pekka is in the lineup. He will start tonight for Buffalo. As Ted Nolan said, that was a warm-up decision.
Pettican swings it up to center ice. Jelena will tap it off into the corner. It's Burry's in there, bumping to knock Bure off the puck. It's tipped around the boards and recovered by Pekka. Pekka swinging the pass across ice. Not as far as center. Shannon steered it in. This is going to go right to Fountain. And he's going to have to cover up his dog and sailing in there. Tonight's stretches brought to you by Vicks Deep Discounts.
Now for the Vancouver Canucks, their list continues to go, and Tom Rennie has had to adjust his lineup. Trevor Linden, knee injury, gone for 6 weeks. Alexander Mogilny, we talked to him briefly out in the hallway before tonight's game. He's been in bed for 3 days suffering from the flu, but not well enough, obviously, to play here tonight.
Mogilny, when I had the opportunity to touch him, was marveling at the building. Oh, wasn't he? Yeah, he just thought it was great. Now the puck sent away to center ice, steered ahead to Jelena. Jelena eases it in over the line, gets taken out right there, and Daw gets it back. Around to Wilson, but not far enough, but it's held in by Ridley. Ridley will drop it off. Back to the point, the long shot sails off into the corner. Jelena after it again, lets it slide in behind the net. Ridley out, got it out in front of Bure. Another whack at it, it dribbles back into the corner. Vancouver's trying to put a little bit of pressure on. Held in and rolled around behind the net. Murray charging after it, but so is Joseph to keep it in there. Squirts around on the boards again and is pounded off the glass and down the ice. And this one will take the pressure off Buffalo, but will also result in an icing against the Sabres.
Well, for Ted Nolan's hockey club here this evening, Richard Schmelik also, he was a late scratch. He wasn't sure whether he was going to play, but Ted decided to scratch him after the pregame skate. Pat LaFontaine, of course, and Brad May has said that he's going to be another 2 weeks yet before he's back, so he's ahead of schedule. And Ted Nolan, of course, was saying what a great part, what a great addition Brad May will be when he gets himself back into the lineup.
Merry Christmas.
Yeah.
Holzinger out on the draw now for Buffalo, winning it to Galley to McKee. He's swinging it around for Audette. He'll tap it free, and Audette got hammered by Wotan. It'll be covered up by Sillinger, sending it across ice. The pass to center. Audette came right back on Wotan, but Audette is going to get the penalty. Here it's deflected in front of the net. Sabres recovering it in the corner with Ward and Donald. Audette, a little payback time, and he'll pay the price.
Yeah, that's what Ted Nolan refers to as a feel-good penalty, as Donald Audette retaliated against Wotan and goes 2 minutes for high sticking. Audette just gets his stick up and rakes Wotan right in the face. And he's lucky if he only gets 2 minutes on that.
Well, it doesn't help when you're short.
No, but
your high stick is rather obvious then, isn't it?
He got the stick up right in the face though of Wotan. There's no question about that. But an early power play for Vancouver and a face-off to the left of Hasek.
Time 1:27.
Canucks holding it in, dealing it back to Lume. Lume swirling around, let his shot go, scores! Lume ripping the shot from the point. I don't know whether it was deflected or not, but on the power play, Vancouver very quickly striking and into a 1-0 lead.
Well, the Canucks looking to take the early lead, have their wish. And Zerke Lume drills a long shot by Dominik Hasek right off the face-off. And this is Lume right here as the play will be moved across. Or I beg your pardon, that's Lume who drifts into the middle and beats Dominik Hasek. And I don't know whether that was deflected. There was a player in front of Hasek.
I think Tikkanen might have touched it.
Tikkanen certainly had a chance to tip the puck. And in any event, Vancouver with the early 1-0 lead as they feel-good penalty to Audette cost Buffalo.
As soon as the puck was dropped, Naslund and Groshek took a rip at one another. Hasek handling this one and giving it to Galley. Galley drops it off to McKee in the corner. He's going to have to let it slide to Barnaby. Barnaby twisting around to get away from Naslund. Barnaby leading the rush right back again. Gains center ice. Get it in. Moves that to the corner. Here's Pratt trying to hold it in and does by shoveling it back along the boards. Tikkanen gets checked, but then gets it right back again. They'll tap it around into the corner. Groshek doing some bumping in there. It's sent around to the other side. Held in by McKee. McKee drops it off in the corner to Barnaby. Barnaby trying to clear it in front, right in front of the net. And flips it to the blue line and down the ice. Back is Barnaby to cover up with the Canucks making changes, and now the Sabres as well. Barnaby trying to pull back again, slipping it up on the wing. That one eludes everybody, goes down the ice, and the Canucks will get there first. And that's another icing call 2.5 minutes into this opening period.
Curtis Brown and company are going to have success against Vancouver by using their speed to forecheck in the Canucks end of the ring. Vancouver's defense is not that aggressive, not physical. They're certainly not very fast, and that will be one of the keys to success tonight for the Buffalo Sabres.
The scorer's ruling is that Lume's shot made it all the way to the net, was not deflected, and Sillinger gaining 1 assist on the play, Naslund the other. Roberts in the face-off for the Canucks. It's recovered by Buffalo and worked to Ray. Ray took a bump, got the puck through center ice, and a funny hop at the line. Knocked down, kept in there, but now called on the offside. As Brown tried to walk in all alone.
Now they're calling it a 2-line pass, and the faceoff will be back inside the Buffalo line. How about Curtis Brown? Semenoff back in the lineup tonight. Curtis Brown had filled in admirably for Mike Pekka at center ice between Burridge and Daw. And now the youngster Brown back on the wing here tonight. So major adjustments for some players to make, playing different positions and with different lines every night, but not a major adjustment for Curtis Brown. And there's always that benefit, of course, of being versatile, as Rob Ray talks it up with Brashear.
Yep, right off the bat. They were poking away at each other, but elect to let it go for the moment. Brashear goes down. Semenoff swinging the puck around to Brown on the other side. He'll tap it up to center, trying to catch up with it. Can't do it. Hedican back there. Hedican now finding Ridley to Roberts. Roberts swinging in over the line. The long shot. Hasek handles that one and looks it around on the board. Brown tipping it free. Making away to center with a long pass that doesn't get as far as Ray. Brashear trying to spin around. Can't do it. That's recovered by Bugner. Bugner flipping it behind the net, around the board, but kept in. Now stolen right back by Bugner again. Bugner stepping away, slips it up on the wing to Ray. Ray will bank one in. Missed it behind the net. Here's Semenoff trying to pick it up, chases after it again. Semenoff looking out in front, and he finally loses control, and it goes off the skate and is picked up by Crowder. Crowder tipping it over to Brashear. Brashear to the Buffalo line, into the corner for Troy Crowder again, watched by Wilson. Ends up on Shannon's stick. Shannon tapping it ahead. Buffalo coming back with Daw. Daw hooked from behind, got knocked off stride, but cleared it in. Left there to Burridge, and he couldn't swing it in front of the net. Now it's jammed around on the boards and picked up by Walker. Scott Walker striding the way to center. He'll rip one in. Hasek missed it behind the goal. Tapped back into the corner, and Crowder, who's still out on the ice, couldn't pick it up. Sent back in the other direction into Vancouver territory. The Canucks just clear it in the other direction, and it'll be broken up and worked up ahead. Shannon flipping it off the boards. Troy Crowder must be going for a new all-time record. He's still out on the ice. Steered ahead again for Daw. He couldn't get it up through the middle to Pekka, but Daw carries on. Flipped it in front of the net and shot! As Burridge let it go. Now jammed back in the corner again, and the Canucks come up with it. Go back to the point. Shannon. Ooh, and that just failed to be deflected by Pekka. Finally, Vancouver coming up with the puck and bringing it away with a long pass at center that Shannon takes away. The teams are changing. Buffalo coming back with Pekka. Ripping a shot right on the rebound. Jammed wide of the net. Pekka feeds it in behind the goal again. Comes right out in front. Who's back to the backhand, and Fountain makes the save. The Ducks can't get it out. Long shot. Fountain steered that one away. It came back to the blue line, came to the line, and now up to center ice. And here's a breakaway for Vancouver. In goes Challoner, in on goal. Oh, she couldn't make the save. It slides underneath them into the net. And the Vancouver Canucks will surge in front 2-0 here in the first period.
Well, Martin Jelinas actually loses control of the puck. Dominic Hasek misplayed the puck, and it crossed the goal line. Vancouver on a strange goal go ahead 2-0, and this has been a nightmare for Hasek in the first 5 minutes of this game. Martin Jelinas one of the fastest skaters on the Vancouver Canucks, and they have some real speedsters in Courtnall and Pavel Bure. Beach Hashing, and the Canucks have a 2-goal lead here early in the first period.
The Sabres bench was up and screaming because they thought there should have been a penalty call when Mike Pekka was knocked down in front of the Vancouver net, but the play just reversed, went right down the ice, and the Canucks get their second goal. Here's Shannon now. He'll deal it ahead to Holzinger. Knocking it off to Wilson. The long pass off on Den's dragging down the ice. That football in, bumped by Odette. Tapped free again, and finally the Canucks will bring it right back out. In over the Buffalo line to Bure. Bure drops it back. Held in by Ridley. Ridley taps it into the corner to Jelena. Jelena had some difficulty. Ridley keeping it in there. He gets squeezed out by Wilson. Ridley's got it again, dealing it across ice. All the way around on the other side. And the Sabres will bring it out again. The center for Shannon. Shannon rifles one in and heads off for a rush. Banked all the way around on the boards and ends up cleared back inside the Buffalo line where Butner recovers. Out away to center again. Over the line. Drop back to Barnaby. Took his shot. Didn't get anything on that one as he partially fanned on it. Plant keeping it in there. Leaves it to Barnaby swinging behind the net. Good to get it out in front. He gets taken off the puck. And the Canucks will start away again. Tikkanen flipping it in. Sails all the way around the boards. Tikkanen after it himself. Cleared it ahead. It ends up back in the corner on Zhitnik's stick. Zhitnik gets away from one. Starts to come out with the pass up in the wing for Grosek. Grosek getting away from Tikkanen, but his pass is intercepted. Tapped right back on the Tikkanen's stick again. That one dribbles to the Buffalo line and over, and a drop pass is kept in there, and a shot is knocked wide of the net by Naslund. Jammed back into the corner again. Zhitnik trying to shovel it out, can't do it. Vancouver keeping it in once more, dealing it back to the point. Held in. As Joseph lost it, it comes to center. There's a 2-on-1 break. Grosek in over the line, got it in front, and shot wide of the net. No, catch it where they score! Grosek picking up the rebound and stuffing it in. And the Sabres are foiled on the first opportunity. But 18 comes back and cashes it. And Buffalo on the board, trailing by 1, 2-1.
Well, if you do not succeed, try again. Mike Grosek made a great play on a 2-on-1 break to set up Matthew Barnaby, who had the open side. Barnaby ends up missing the net. Now here's the play as Chris Joseph gives the puck away. You see Matt Barnaby just was not in position to put the puck in, but Mike Grosek picks it up off the backboards and does, and the Sabres score a huge goal to get themselves back in the game. Nice play by Grosek at the Buffalo line to intercept the pass from Joseph.
Sabres trying to work it out. Fed ahead for McKee, who slips it back through the middle to Dawn. Dawn tipping it in over the line. Buried, drills a shot, knocked around behind the net. Kept in by Buffalo again. Worked back to McKee. McKee scooping it into Pekka. He knocked it free out in front, and a shot by Dawn caroms off into the corner. It's recovered by Ojik. Ojik got rid of it to center ice. That's tapped off the boards. Ojik's got it again in over the line with a long shot that does not get through. McKee got in front of it, came right in front of the net. And ends up slipping out to center ice. Canucks recovering again. Wharton dumps it off. Picked up and sent off the boards by Roberts, and the Sabres will break it up, and Galley starts back. Galley gets in over the line, just striding free. It's finally kicked back to the blue line. And is tapped back through center ice. Ray could not catch up with it in time. Brashear hustling after the puck, can't get there. It's tipped out to the neutral area, then jammed back in, and now is called on the offside. Vancouver got the first two, Buffalo the next one. 2-1 on Empire. They'll drop the puck outside the Buffalo blue line. This is, what do we say about a very conservative hockey game?
A lot of scoring chances already.
Yeah, they played 8 minutes.
And goaltending has been less than stellar, and how often would you say that about Dominic Hasek? It's he had a tough time on both Vancouver goals.
Cleared around the boards now. He's going to end up back at center where Galley covers up. He's got McKee open and gives it to him. Jay McKee round to Galley again. Tried to feed it up on the wing, does, and it ends up slipping back through center ice. Back in the other direction to Crowder. He can't get anywhere. Moves across ice. Recovered by Scott Walker. Just cranked out to center where Wilson picks it up. Oh, and Wilson gets nailed by Walker. Back at center ice. It's recovered, and Shannon sending it in over the line. Coyne whipped it back in the other direction. Right ahead. Fired off into the corner by Seamack. That's broken up. Sails off the leg and finally is worked out to center by Buffalo, only to have the Canucks break it up. Shannon coming back again, tried to steer it up on the wing. Vancouver breaking up the play once more. Taken away to Holzinger.
Well, watch Vancouver when Buffalo tries to attack. They got people back in the neutral zone. The Sabres are going to have to start shooting the puck and getting it in deep.
Audette being hounded along the boards, trying to get it out, can't do it. The Canucks keeping it in, fired off into the corner, and the shot deflects in behind the net. Vancouver keeping it in now, work it back again to Bure. Bure spinning around at the point, works it back down low, sends it to the corner to Ridley. He got it back, it's cleared in front of the net, that's knocked away, and Buffalo can't get it out. And they got it, but still not out. It's kept into Bure, the shot, and a great save by Hasek, one-on-one. Hooked off the board, Bure's got it again. Here's Bure leaving it at the point. A long shot gets knocked out. Right away to center ice, and the Sabres start back with Ward. Ward slipping in over the line, leaves it there, rolled in front of the net, and it ends up back to Bure at center ice again, one-on-one. Bure coming in over the line. He winds up, drills his shot wide, and that's going to go all the way through center. Sabres will now make a change, and the Canucks attempting to do so as well. Ridley gets taken out at center ice. Buffalo, Barnaby can't get anywhere. Now he picks up the puck again, feeds it in over the line to Grosek, flipping it in from the backhand, just missed. Around on the boards it goes. Plant unable to put that one away. Tip to Lume. Lume, who had the second Vancouver goal, brings it in over the line. It's broken up and ends up back outside the blue line again. Halfway through the opening period. Let's bring it in once again. In over the line. That's knocked down in front of the net. Sabres trying to work it out, and finally do as Barnaby churns away to center, getting it to Grosek. Grosek takes a shot, and that one is picked off by Fountain. And now Barnaby mixing it up with Wotan in the goal crease, and the linesman goes scooting in there to get between the two of them. Little over 9 to go here in the opening period, and it's wide open at the Marine Midland Arena. Almost ready to resume play again. Is getting off the ice a little bit late was Mark Wotan, but he's now on the Vancouver bench. It's taken by Rolling. Rolling around and sending it away to center ice. That's hooked in over the line. Back to Tikkanen, and he ripped it wide. Around in the glass it goes. Aarons out to center. Pekka trying to catch up with it and does. Pekka tried to slip it up in the wing to Daw. That was picked off. And it's sent right back in again. Bugner bumping along with Rolin out at center ice. And then Bugner, and then Pekka came in and flattened Rolin. A shot going wide to Hasek. Worked around on the boards. Bugner slipping it as far as center again. Daw ran into his man. The Canucks will drill it right back in. O'Coin. Worked around on the boards. Shear takes a bump from Bugner and taken away by Zhitnik. Zhitnik got it to the blue line, not out, a long shot, and that one is tipped off to the side, so Coyne let it go. Sabres trying to work it out now and do with Pekka. Pekka got hooked from behind, and Ojik is going to get a penalty here. Ojik falling back on Pekka, and then Ojik colliding with Daw, but the Vancouver Canucks are going to find themselves shorthanded for the first time in the game. They're in the lead 2-1 here in this opening period.
Now here's a penalty as Ojik stops skating and ends up hooking his check down to the ice, or at least off the puck. That was Mike Pekka, and Buffalo will have their opportunity for the first time tonight on the power play, trailing by 2-1. Gino Ojik from Manawaski, Quebec. Last year led the Vancouver Canucks with 181 penalty minutes.
And our Sitco go-to guy, there he is, Pavel.
Well, why not? He led the NHL in 93-94, 60 goals. He had scored 60 goals the year before that. Missed all, or almost all of last season, of course, with that knee injury.
Buffalo now with the chance on the power. First opportunity of the game. It's back around the board, stuck back into the corner against the Mana. Now it's just rattled all the way down the ice by Sellinger. Hasek to slow it down. Less than 8 minutes remaining in the period. Holzinger sailing it across ice. By flat to the corner. Here's Brochik going after it behind the net. He gets squeezed out. Holzinger peeling it back to Plant again to Holzinger. Holzinger trying to spread him out. Got it to Plant. One-timer, he ripped it wide. Into Galley. Galley going behind, trying to work it out in front of the net. Boy, a shot off the goal post. Another whack at it. Great play by Galley, and finally Fountain covers up. What a play by Gary Galley.
Terrific play by the Buffalo point man, and it was Donald Adet who rang it off the goalpost after Mike Fountain was down and out of the play, and Adet could not put it in. The Sabres coming close on this power play opportunity. And Donald Adet, this is where he likes to be. Look at how far Galley had pinched in. Or actually, I beg your pardon, it was Galley who hit the crossbar, and Donald Adet could not come up with the loose puck. But a pretty good job by the Vancouver defense of tying up Donald Adet and preventing him from getting a stick loose on that play.
Still better than a minute remaining in the Canuck penalty. It rolls back to the blue line. Held it with a scoop by Shannon into the corner. That goes behind the net. Lume getting there first. His backhand is high in the air and rolled down the ice. Hasek comes out to slow it down for Shannon. Errol Shannon peeling away now, slipping it up on the wing. Shipnick comes in, rips a shot, and cranked that one right off the glass. Shannon holding it in at the point. Got it to the blue line. It ends up going back to center ice. That's picked up by Daw, but Daw is challenged and has to turn. Flipping it ahead to Pekka. Back for Daw. Daw fights his way into the corner. Got it around to the other side to Burridge. Burridge sending it back to the point. Kept in by Buffalo again. Now Shipnick tapping it down low once more. Back to Shipnick. A shot knocked down in front of the net. The Canucks get the opportunity, and they clear it back down the ice again. Cubs doing the deed, and both teams change as Shipnick brings it right back. Shipnick feeding it in over the line, but that ends up at center ice. Shipnick again bumping along the boards, bothered by Tikkanen. Stolen away, and then the pass is picked off at center by Rolin. He'll dribble it in over the line. Vancouver back at full strength. Slipped ahead as far as center ice. Canucks recover again, whipping it back in over the line, and a chance now with a shot going wide of the net taken by Naslund. Worked ahead to Barnaby. He flipped it out to center. Platt carries on. Platt into Brochik. Brochik getting around the outside. Brochik trying to clear it in front, and Fountain reached out and speared that one and holds on long enough for a face-off. The Canucks are still in the lead, but now that lead has been halved. They'll be dropping the puck in the Vancouver end of the rink.
I'm going to make a prediction. I'm going to go out on a limb and say for the first time this year that the Buffalo Sabres will outshoot the Vancouver Canucks here tonight.
In the game?
Mark that down. In the game.
In the game. For the first time they'll outshoot the opposition is what you're saying. Okay. It's a pretty serious charge, man.
Going out on a limb.
Yeah. The Canucks will bring it away now at center ice. Sillinger tips it in over the line. A chance for Hasek to Sillinger. And Hasek broke up that play. Sabres coming right back with Ray. Ray dropping it off to Semenoff. Semenoff spinning around for Ray, and it went between his legs. Recovered by Sillinger. He eluded a check thrown by Ray, and a long shot. Fountain handles and shovels off to the side. Tipped up as far as center. McKee kicking at it with Tikkanen. The old jam right in front of the penalty box area, and it's poked back in over the line again. Vancouver recovering O'Point. It's whipped up to center ice, and then stepping on top of the puck was David Robertson. He got his shot away there, but that's a little bit embarrassing. He went down because he stepped on the puck. So we slipped back into Vancouver territory. Buffalo changing on the fly. And the Canucks ripping right back again. And over the line, Joseph. He drops it off, takes a return pass. Puts it better through the goal crease. Work to the blue line, but not out. Shannon will get a chance. Shannon helps it on the boards, but still doesn't get it out. It's kept in. The long shot is kicked away by Hasek. Flipped up in the wing and taken back by Hennigan. He gives it away to Wilson. Working it up for Ward, who could not pick up the pass. He would have been offside. Vancouver will just dish it back through the middle again, right onto Bugner's stick. Being watched by Brashear. Shipnick to Bugner on the other side. Back to Shipnick. They're going to tire out for old Donald Brashear here. Shipnick now starts out. Dealing it over on the wing to Holzinger. His pass gets knocked down at center ice. Buffalo tried to change. Work back as far as center ice again, but Shipnick breaks it up and guides it in the other direction. Tracking it down, Walton. Walton swinging behind his own net. Holtz and brings it out with a pass to Lume. Lume gets away from one. Daw got to the Buffalo line and then elected to go back out again. Two of his teammates had gone in offside. Lume will now just scoop it in. Hasek leaving it back behind the net and teeing it up for his defenseman. Bugner dealing it back as far as center ice. It just rolls free along the blue line. Ends up going back inside the Buffalo zone. Hasek way out of the net to play this one away around to Shipnick. He's being watched by Seaman. Shipnick strikes out again for Buffalo. Cruises back through the middle. Shipnick hits the Vancouver line. Chopped it in over the line. That looked clearly offside. Then around behind the net. But look at him back there. Came free in the corner and now is dumped up ahead, and the Canucks come away 2-on-2 with a pass to Bure. Bure swings in over the line. Watch him make moves. Goes behind the net. Bure still scooping the puck. Drops it off in the corner to Ridley. Ridley lost control, and this one will end up going to center ice. And Galley has to come over and reclaim his stick. Fed to Ridley again, leaving it there to Bure. Bure getting to the middle, and Galley came over and took him out and took a high stick. There'll be a penalty to Vancouver. The pass is good. Backhand right on. And it's held by the goaltender, and now it's Bure who's going to get the penalty, and Galley is still down on the ice.
Well, it was Pavel Bure who hooked the stick from Gary Galley's hands earlier in this shift, and then Bure with an elbow or a high stick decked Galley. And Galley hasn't moved.
Well, he is conscious, but barely, as you can see, as he struggles to his hands and knees.
To me, this is a major penalty. This is not a minor penalty. I doubt if it will be called a major. But this was clearly an intentional high stick or elbow.
I don't think the penalty has been called yet. And they're having trouble with Gary Galley. He got to his feet and then he partially collapsed again. I think the referee is waiting before he makes this call.
Now, perhaps if that's the case, then this ought to be called 5 minutes.
Now we'll let the officials sort this out as they take a close look at Gary Galley. Buffalo trailing by 1.
Now here comes Pavel Bure with the puck. Gary Galley will challenge Bure. And watch right here, if we can stop it, look at the skates of Bure are well off the ice. He comes up with the stick or the elbow or the forearm, catches Galley right in the head. Well, Galley has gone to the dressing room.
Well, he only got a double minor. I can guarantee you right now that is going to Brian Burke. That piece of film. I mean, you've got to do that.
That was so blatant. Deliberate attempt to injure, without question. Should have been a match penalty. But the Sabres have a 4-minute power play and have lost Gary Galley, at least momentarily.
Well, yeah, heavy on the momentarily, though. Boy, oh boy, he was almost right out when he took him off. So Shipnick will go back after the puck now. He's out on one point, McKee on the other. Buffalo has the man advantage to try and tie this game to Holzinger. Holzinger hits the Vancouver line and over, works it down low, tried to tap it in front, but it's taken away, banked off the boards and back down the ice. Shipnick will catch up with it. He'll try and slow things down. Less than 2 minutes remaining in the period. Audette twists and turns as he gets in over there, gets around the outside. Donald Audette then overskates the puck. Now he swings it back to McKee, to Shipnick. Shipnick took a shot, but that one will go off the stick of Jelena and out of play.
What a great move Donald Audette put on Brett Hedigan. As Shipnick took the shot from the point and had it deflect up over the glass. But Shipnick's playing some of his best hockey since a member of the Buffalo Sabres. But Audette using the speed and quickness to back up the Vancouver defense and then putting the quick move on the defenseman Hedigan as Bure sits in the penalty box to serve his 4-minute double minor.
Let's get an opportunity and immediately chop it down the ice. So no matter what happens here, if Buffalo scores, Vancouver would still be shorthanded. Shannon winds up, shoot it in, and fooled everybody. He'll have to bring it in over the line himself. Shannon trying to drop it off. Back into the corner for Burries, who charges after it to Shannon again. He tried to clear it back. It's intercepted. Knocked to the blue line. Taken away by Shannon once more. He can't get anywhere, however, and it's picked up by Pekka. Pekka will drill one in. Fountain lets it go around to the other side. Lume recovers in the corner. Lume cleared it to the blue line. Shannon holding. Oh, nice move. Shannon keeping it in there. He drops it back to the point to Plant. Swings it over on the other side. Buffalo still the man advantage. Into the corner, the shot. That one deflects and goes out of play as Ward swung around behind the net.
Well, once Buffalo is able to gain possession in the Vancouver zone, they are successful with moving the puck around on the power play, but they're having an awful time getting into the zone and then setting up. And one of the things that you don't want to do when you have the man advantage is force the play. And I'm going to show you, instead of making the easy play, watch what Daryl Shannon does. If we can stop the tape right now. Now there's Daryl Shannon. He's trying to make the play there. This is the easy play to this fella. And it's picked off.
Well, the Canucks with a chance to get it out of their own zone, and they do, as they got it by Holzinger. Back into the Buffalo end with only a half a minute to go in the period. Sabres to bring it out again, but Zhitnik is denied, and he goes all the way back, being chased back in, and he gave it away. It came in front of the net. Zhitnik couldn't pick it up. Zhitnik starts right back again now. 15 seconds to go. Zhitnik deals it in over the line. The pass back and shot by Otten. Otten makes the save, went behind the net, rung around on the boards. Zhitnik keeping it in. He'll tip it down low for Holzinger. Holzinger into the corner, got away from Augette. Tipped in by Buffalo. Into Daw, he couldn't get his shot on. Back to Augette. And it hit a leg and bounces away as time expires in the opening period.
And not a very impressive first period of play for either team. Both teams were very bad in their own zone. And one of the things I'm sure the coaching staff will address for the Buffalo Sabres is that very fact. Play better in your own zone.
The Vancouver Canucks had only 15 shots on goal last night in Detroit. They had only 8 in the first period here, but it's enough for a 2-1 lead at the end of one at the Marine Midland Arena on Empire. Thing else is a Pepsi. By Tops Friendly Markets. Tops never stop saving you more. And by McDonald's and their new deluxe line of sandwiches. Try one tomorrow. And our Cigna stats from the opening period of play.
All kinds of scoring chances. Vancouver with 8, Buffalo with 5. The Sabres did outshoot the Canucks, however, by a score of 12-8.
The Sabres will be on the power play to begin this period.
Something that's interesting on this, of course, the Sabres have been on the power play for 4 minutes and 22 seconds. And in the offensive zone, this one right here, they've only spent 2 minutes and 8 seconds in the offensive zone and managed only 2 shots on goal. One of the reasons for that is the Sabres' stubbornness in not shooting the puck in. The Canucks are backed up. They're lined up waiting for Buffalo as they come to the neutral zone and at the Canuck blue line. And the Sabres just even when they try to shoot it in, are not executing good shoot-ins where the puck never gets in deep. So I think that's something that they have to change this period.
Now to begin the period, Bure will be in the penalty box. He still has a little over a minute and a half to serve in his double minor penalty. I guess we could belabor the point all night, but he's very fortunate that that's all he has left to serve.
Yes, that's correct. And of course, Gary Galley has not returned to the Buffalo bench.
A long shot in is handled and left back there for Zhitnik. He'll try and set things up and quarterback this power play opportunity. Working it to Plant on the wing. Plant floats one in the corner for Barnaby. Barnaby puts it behind the net. Here's Groshek back. Got it out in front, but it did escape before it got to Plant. Barnaby trying to keep it in again. It's taken off the puck. Ripped around to the boards. Held in and fired back into the corner again. Plant going to dig it free. He gets all tied up. They jam again. Knocking into Barnaby and the shot went wide. Groshek let it go. Canucks will pick it up and send it down the ice. Sillinger turns around and glares at Groshek. Less than a minute remaining in that power play. Holzinger straight through the middle. Hits the Vancouver line. Throws up the anchor there. Looking across. As an open man, Zhitnik elects to send it down low. Derek Plant working the puck around. Took his shot. It didn't get through. And the Canucks, Tikkanen will just tap it down the ice again. Time running out. Buffalo's an advantage situation. 25 seconds remaining in Bure's penalty. Shipnick will tap one off into the corner. Right around to Lume. Lume halted it there. Now bangs it around on the glass. Kept in back at the point. Long shot gets knocked down, and it's spun away to center ice by Roberts. Roberts hits the Buffalo line. Watched by Shannon. Roberts turning again. Clears it across ice. Canucks. Tikkanen just takes his time and then fired it right onto Shannon's stick. Bure back out on the ice. Semenov takes it away. Semenov guides it back into his own end. Approaching the 2-minute point of the second period. Pass swung back through the middle to Semenov again. Gets in over the line. Took his shot. Fountain kicked it away. It's recovered by Ridley. Ridley watched by Ward. Steered it back to center ice. Bure leaving it there. Brought in over the line. Kept in now to Jelena. Getting it in front. They score. That one went right off the Buffalo defenseman's skate into the net. It deflected off of Bugner. And the Vancouver Canucks have capitalized to take a 3-1 lead.
Boy, it's one of those nights for goaltenders, isn't it? As Bure goes to the front of the net, and Jelena is trying to get the puck to him. Bugner turns his back to the play to chase down Bure, and the puck bounces in off his right skate by Dominik Hasek. Now here it is right here. Bugner in front of the net. This is Bure, and watch the puck hit his skate and bounce in by Dominik Hasek. 3-1 Vancouver.
Bugner doing his job and ends up being the goat on the play. Obviously not his fault, but it ends up being the third Vancouver goal. Now here's Bure again with a shot, and Hasek makes the save. Gunned all the way to center ice. Brought back in over the line. A chance. Puck is cleared right off the glass to the blue line and is steered out to center ice, and here come the Canucks back again. Bure trying to get it up on the wing. He just leaves it there. Sabres breaking it up. Bure watching Shannon. Slipped across to Wilson. Wilson tipping it ahead. Knocked down at the line. Sent in the other direction. Picked up by Bure. He steers it ahead for Ridley. Ridley dumped it in front. Back to Bure. Slapped it across the other side. Held in there by Hedican. Hedican hit it into the corner. There's Bure getting spun around by Shannon. Bure still has the puck. Worked it back to the point. It's tapped back into the corner again. Canucks holding it in there with Ridley. Ridley bothered from behind. Jammed it back in along the wall. They poke at it again. Everybody kicking the way out of it along the boards. Deflected to the line, but not out. Hedican holding it in. To the other side, a shot, and Hasek picks that one off on the shot from Brashear and hangs onto it. Vancouver back in front by 2.
Just got word from the Sabre locker room on that hit on Gary Galley late in the first period by Pavel Bure. Galley suffered a slight concussion, and he will not be back. Let's go back upstairs.
It doesn't seem like quite a fair trade, does it? A double minor penalty to lose a hockey player for at least the night. Zhitnik flipping the puck around on the boards. Got it to the blue line. Not out. It's held in there by Joseph. And Zhitnik kicks it free, but still can't get it out. Finally picked up. Plant whipping it behind the net. Bugner takes a bump from Brashear, but got it around to the boards. Canucks covering up again. Swinging it ahead. Went all the way to center to Zhitnik. Zhitnik fights off a check. Whipped it in over the line. Tapped back to the other side. Barnaby hustles after it. Spins. Takes his shot. That one goes wide. Barnaby eluding a check thrown at him by Joseph. Brochek keeping it in across to Barnaby again. Oh, Barnaby ran into his own man. Bugner moved up from the point. Back it comes now to Brashear. Faked his shot. Jams it into the corner. Around behind the net. Zhitnik tries it free. He's got a chance to go. Zhitnik coming away. Gets into Vancouver territory. Waiting for his teammates to catch up. Finally flipped it onto Fountain. Held in by Ray. Poking it back into the corner again. Sabres keeping it in. Dropped off along the boards once more. Working on the puck is Semenov. Semenov spinning around. Takes a shot. And that one deflected just wide of the net. Covered by the Canucks. Ojik to center ice. He'll flip one in. And head to the bench. Runned across to Brown. Brown working it up at center for Ray. Ray brings it in over the line. He took a bump and it ends up at center ice again. Sabres recovering with Shannon for Semenoff. A bouncing puck, had difficulty controlling it. Got it to Ray. He'll flip one off into the corner. Brown got knocked down, and it's sent back to center ice. Worked across for Wilson. Wilson squeezed it off the boards, but recovered by Lume. He gets turned around right in front of the referee. Jammed in over the line, taken back by Semenoff. Couldn't get anywhere. Lume will get it to the blue line. Had to wait for his teammates to get onside. It fired across the Crowder. Boy, Crowder trying to get it in front. It ends up back in the corner and taken by Shannon. Shannon ducks away from the check in the corner and throws it across to Wilson. Wilson with a long, high shot that'll end up rolling down the ice. Holzing but the Canucks will get there first, and that will be an icing call coming up against Buffalo. Call Hockey Hotline during this period to speak with Mike Robitaille and Brian Blessing. One caller is going to be chosen to discuss Sabres hockey during the second intermission. Here's the number, 1-800-388-7897.
Well, the Vancouver Canucks play pretty good hockey until they get into their own zone, and I'm sure that Ted Nolan wants his club to get the puck deep and work the Vancouver defense, because that's where they're most vulnerable. And of course, an inexperienced goaltender in there, Mike Fountain, getting only his second start in the NHL tonight. Incidentally, he won his first start by shutout. Became one of only 19 goaltenders to do that in their first NHL start, to record a shutout. The last goalie to do it was Darren Pupa, and we of course called that game as Pupa shut out the Edmonton Oilers 2-0 in his NHL debut.
Here's Zipnik being checked in behind the net. Canucks trying to keep it in, flipped across ice, and the Sabres get a chance and clear it out thanks to Ward. Vancouver coming up with the puck again. It got picked off by Holzinger. He banked it off the boards. He's in over the line, swept right back out again by Rolin. Toss it goes to O'Coin. Ure slips it ahead. Right back in over the line with Rolin. Rolin and a third in front. That's knocked away by Hatchet. Ward with a pass at center ice. A breakaway. In on goal. Did the shot right off. Oh, and a rebound. He jammed wide of the net. Great opportunity for Donald Audette. Canucks get rid of the puck to center ice. Zipnik knocks it down. Zipnik squeezing it to McKee. He tried to flip it through the middle and did. Buffalo coming right back again. The pass in over the line. Ward cut in on goal. Knocked around behind the net by O'Coin. Swept around on the boards. Held in by Buffalo again. Held across to Audette. Audette tried to flip it in front. Broken up. Comes to the blue line. Kicked at by Shannon, but goes to Bure at center. Bure now coming in with Ridley. 2-on-1. Bure took a shot. And she kicks it away to Shannon. Shannon tried to scoop it up in the wing, but it went all the way to center ice. Joseph breaking it up and then getting a return pass. Here's Joseph dropping it on. Tipped in over the line by Hedican. Sabres got it back momentarily, and then it's knocked down at the blue line and brought back in on an offside, and we will have a face-off coming up. Less than 13 minutes to go here in the second period. Donald Audette comes close, but no cigar. Just ready on the face-off at center ice. Tap back into the Buffalo end where Shannon flags it down. Uses the glass to the blue line. Not out. Back behind the net. Hasek will help his cause by dealing it around on the board. Scoop free. Pekka got tripped up as he tried to get away. Wilson picks it off. The long pass at center. A touch pass by Pekka to Burridge. He cannot get away from Joseph, however. Wilson challenging Sillinger. Around to the blue line again, and Shannon comes up with the puck. Shannon looking for the open man. Gives it to Daw. Daw just shoveled it out to center ice. Bang back in the other direction, and they can't get it as far as Pekka. Recovered with Naslund turning, and Naslund fired it back in the other direction. He didn't really care. He just wanted to get rid of it. Wilson trying to get away. Swung up ahead, brought in over the line to Barnaby. Barnaby bumps along the boards with Hedigan. Barnaby got away from him. Here's Barnaby. Got it in front. Klugner, the shot right on, and Fountain flops on the rebound and hangs on to it.
Now, one of the areas, and we addressed this all last season, was the improvement of Matthew Barnaby in handling the puck, and he spotted Bugner moving in from the point position and made a great play to him. Barnaby twisting and turning along the boards and in the corner. Watch this great play as you'll see the play develop, and Bugner is right here, number 6, in position. He drifts right into the open area, but notice what happened when the puck came to him. It bounced, and it took him an instant to gain control, and that sort of threw off the timing of the whole play, but still an excellent play by Barnaby along the boards and in the corner.
Semenoff between Brown and Ray now for Buffalo. And the youngster Roberts taking the face off. Recovered by Lume. Just get rid of it through center. Bugner catching up with it and spearing away at each other back at center ice for Shear and Ray. And then Ojic comes over to have some words with Ray. Back around to the boards. Hit him in front. Ojic couldn't catch up with it. Sheridan took a shot that's nowhere near the net. Deflected to the blue line. Dribbled back to the corner. Gunned off the skate, but not out. It's kept in there in front of the net. Rashew shot right on. And held by Hatchick. And now some shoving going on, and here's Brashear and Ray. Brashear and Ray want to tee off on one another. As they grapple in the corner, the linesmen are in there trying to get them apart. And Brashear and Ray are still firing punches over the top. They don't want to let go. They want to start letting them rip, and the crowd's booing. They want to get them in there. Now, meanwhile, Brashear got it right free and tossed a couple of jabs in there. And I think that's going to be it.
Well, Brashear had a great scoring opportunity moments before this scuffle broke out, but could not beat Hasek. He stole the puck from Shannon. And of course, Ray and Brashear have been at each other ever since Brashear debuted with the Montreal Canadiens. Watch this play by Brashear as the Sabres again have problems moving out of the zone. As Brashear lifts the stick of Shannon and tries to go high on Hasek, but can't do it. And both Rob Ray and Donald Brashear are in the penalty box. Buffalo down by 3-1 here in the second with 11:08 to go. But I'm certain that Ted Nolan feels in a game like this, you're getting all kinds of scoring chances. You feel you're never out of it, but it's very important for Buffalo to score the next goal, because the last thing they want to do is go down by 4-1.
In this date in Sabre history, brought to you by Rosina Italian Sausages and Meatballs. How did Kong do that? Did the Rangers pull a goaltender?
I'm trying. I think what happened
is
is
have a goalie.
He shot the puck. Well, he shot the puck from the Buffalo blue line off a face-off, and it skipped or hit a piece of ice in front of the goaltender and went in the corner. I remember that goal.
Do you?
Yes, I do.
That. Of course, he would have said he planned it all the way.
Oh, sure. He knew exactly where the ice chip was, and he hit it perfectly.
Yeah. Way to wake night plotting that one. So the coincidental minor penalties result in a little extra space on the ice.
Now, this ought to be exciting. Ridley, who is a fine skater for Vancouver on the ice, along with Bure, and Derek Plant and Barnaby up front for Buffalo.
Let's keep it in. It's flipped in front of the net. That'll be deflected away, but not out. Chopped back into the corner. Zhitnik catches up with it. Bure watches him. Here's Zhitnik being chased back by Ridley. Zhitnik trying to pull away from Ridley, but Ridley stayed right with him. Zhitnik turning again, and Ridley took the puck away. Got it back to the point. In wide of the net. That goes around behind the goal. Held in to Lume. Lume bumped by McKee. Zhitnik cannot work it on the boards. Came back to Bure. He took a shot. That caroms to the other side to Wotan. Wotan passing it around to Ridley behind the net. Ridley trying to find somebody out in front. Is still camped back there. And he's still got the puck in behind the net. Here's Ridley looking for an open man. Got it in front, and Hasek was wise to the maneuver, made the save, and now the net is knocked askew. And back at center ice, Wotan mixing it up with Barnaby.
Well, fine puck possession by Vancouver in the Buffalo zone, but great positioning by Matthew Barnaby and company. As the Sabres held their position, picked up the loose players, and look, Ridley really doesn't have anybody to pass to. For a good scoring opportunity, it was Lume eventually who took the shot, and the net was knocked off the magnets. So the faceoff is outside the Buffalo blue line with 10:19 to go here in the second period. And 1:12 in the coincidental penalties to Brashear and Rob Ray.
Sillinger was waiting for the face-off. Now he's doing mostly talking. Finally gets ready. Left back there to Wilson. Canucks up by 2, approaching the halfway mark of the hockey game. It'll be brought out now to Shannon. Shannon swings it over on the wing, but way too far for Wilson. The Canucks get it back, and then Audette fell and took Wilson down with them. They both get up again. Tikkanen trying to get away, and Wilson flattened in. Shannon swinging it off the boards to Wilson. He couldn't pick it up. Tikkanen guiding it across ice. Swept all the way back to Adrian Aucoin. Aucoin in his own end. Drills it to center ice, and it's tapped ahead. Wilson flips it off the boards. Holzinger attempting to get away and ducks back to shake Aucoin. Holzinger ahead now to Audette in over the line. Got it back to Holzinger, back, and he flipped it wide. Audette trying to keep it in. He takes a bumble on the boards from Tikkanen. They mix it up. Jam free again. Tikkanen and Audette yapping away at each other. Sabres recovering the puck with Wilson. Wilson got it up to Audette. Audette swings in over the Vancouver line. He couldn't control the puck, and Sillinger recovers. Buffalo changing. Back through center comes Sillinger. Sillinger works it to the wall. Now taps it into the corner. Bugner trying to flip it behind the net. Band on it, and it's kept in there by Brashear. He bumps with Bugner. Wide free to Bure. Bure drops it off in the corner. Lost control of it. They jam at it again. It came to the blue line, out to center. 3-on-2 Buffalo. Back in over the line. A chance for the Sabres. Shoveled into Ray. Backhand, he scores! Whoa! The Razor Man went top shelf where Mama hides the cookies. Can you believe? And it's a 3-2 count.
You will see the value of Mike Pekka on this play. Great play by Pekka along the boards to steal the puck. And that's Rob Ray on the left. Pekka sets up a 2-on-1 against the Vancouver defenseman, and Ray lifts it inside the goalpost. A huge goal as the Sabres get themselves back in the game. What a great play that was by Pekka. And Rob Ray finished it off perfectly.
So twice Buffalo's been down by 2, and on both occasions have come back to narrow the gap again. And this one absolutely delights the crowd. He doesn't get many, but he has a flair for the spectacular.
Well, that was a dandy. That was a highlight film goal.
Round on the boards now to the blue line. Zhitnik holding it in, guns it in for Burridge. Burridge trying to pry it free. Takes out his check in the corner, but it's knocked away and now tipped up to center ice to Sillinger. He gets it into Tikkanen. Tikkanen drills a shot. Rebound! Hasek the save. Burridge tips it out to center ice. Daw cuts back through the middle. Daw brings it in over the line, and Pekka will get in there too early, and that'll be called on the offside. So Rob Ray narrows it down to a 1-goal game. A pretty pass, and bingo, a prettier result.
He's ready to jump back on the ice and score another one. He just scored his third of the season. Yes, his third. And Buffalo right back in this hockey game.
He's ahead of last year's pace.
That was a heck of a goal. Rush started by Pekka.
Here's a chance now for Barnaby, ripping a shot that doesn't get through. Came to the blue line. Scooped away by Jelena, and Koshik's all over him. To poke it through, it ends up back in the neutral area. Wilson taps it in the other direction. Covered by Lume, feeding it across ice. Now to Bure. Bure brings it in over the line. Watched by Wilson. Bure spinning again. Hanging on to the puck. That's a shot go. Hasek the save. The rebound. It's taken by Plant. Plant banks it off the boards to center. Barnaby could not get away. Tip free. Lume in his own end. Sends it back to Wotan. He'll clear it ahead. Roberts flipping it through the middle again. Lume trying to catch up with it. Grosek got in front of him. Grosek halting beside the net. Now slips it up to Wilson. Wilson with a cross ice pass and cutting back through the middle is Plant. Plant fakes his shot, leaves it to Barnaby, and he drilled it high and wide. Round on the boards. Bugner keeping it in there by rolling it in to Walton's stick in the corner. Walton trying to get away and finds Bure. He dumped it back. It's just cranked all the way to center ice where Zhitnik works it to the other side. That'll be slapped in and the Sabres complete a line change. And now it just pops out of play and we'll have a face-off coming up. Less than 7 to go in the second period.
Well, Mike Grosek, who scored the first goal of tonight for Ted Nolan's hockey club, has been dominating when he has been on the ice this evening. Grosek using his eyes, his puck-handling ability. Look at this play. This is a great play as Grosek just keeps his cool, keeps his calm, and a single pass moves the Sabres out of the zone on the attack. So Grosek not only doing it in the offensive zone, but he makes a very nice defensive play to move the puck from his end of the rink. A lot of times the youngster will panic in that situation.
Bowles here on the draw, winning it to Zhitnik. Zhitnik works it to the corner, took his shot and gunned it off the glass. And that one ends up popping off the glass and going right out to play.
Boy, those defensemen love those. Great draw that time by Brian Holzinger, and Zhitnik walked right in and blasted the slap shot up over top of the net, off the glass and into the crowd. And that's the reason for the faceoff being brought back outside the Vancouver blue line.
1 goal game with 6.5 to go in the second period.
And you got to feel that from this point of the game on, the Sabres should be taking it over, because the Canucks, at the end of a 6-game road trip they played last night, they ought to be on their last legs. We'll see.
Got in over the line now by Roberts, getting it through Broke in the corner, beside of the net. Bugner flipped it, did not get it out, however. Well, I guess he did really in the end, because it goes out of play.
Although you wonder, though, the type of game that the Vancouver Canucks play, they may not be that tired, because it's strictly almost a defensive game, except for a few players, namely, of course, Pavel Bure. One of their best power forwards, Trevor Linden, is lost for 6 weeks. Courtnall is not playing tonight because of a groin injury, one of the fastest skaters on their team. And yet they still have the lead here in the second with 6:20 to go.
And I hate to tell you this, but they're also out shooting Buffalo 19 to 18 now. And Brashear and Ray line up against one another again. And talk and now ignore each other. Tapped in around behind the net. Brashear getting there first. Dumped it out in front. Semenoff can't get it out. It's held in by Rollins. Flipping it behind the net. Roberts worked it back in the other direction. Brashear in the corner. Brashear then gave it away. Semenoff scooped it on the boards. Bugner took a hit from Brashear, trying to work it out of there. They do some shoving along the wall. Ray comes in to get involved as well. The puck squirts free in the corner to Zhitnik. Zhitnik cruising behind the net to shake a check. Off ground to the blue line. Scoop back into the other direction. Brashear going the wrong way. And he leaves it there finally to a coin. Now it'll be flipped in over the line, and Gino Ojic, and that, well, he received the pass, went offside, and then shoved Zhitnik into the boards. And here's Brashear and Ray again, and here they go. Brashear and Ray. They wanted to go earlier. The linesman got between them. They won't this time. They're just saying, go ahead, settle your differences. And they grapple to the side of Hasek. Now Ray lost his helmet, and Brashear, now Ray trying to fire the right. Oh, and he did. He got a beauty in there. And here's Brashear firing the left shin as he switched hands. Ray and Brashear, now they're both helmetless. Ray and Brashear mixing it up. The linesmen are now close, but they haven't moved in yet. And they're still trying to work in there to get free, to get some more punches in. And nothing's happening at the moment, but oh, there Ray got another right in just as the linesman got between them. Well, that'll be worth 5, at least.
It's hard to believe, but Donald Brashear, 1 year in the American Hockey League with Fredericton, scored 38 goals and 28 assists.
You're kidding.
I'm not kidding you. I had to look at that a couple of times myself. That was during the 1993-94 season, and he ended up second on Fredericton Canadiens in scoring that year. But he certainly hasn't found his scoring touch in the NHL, but he certainly has his fighting touch, as Robert and Brashear meet again. But I mean, they were just daring each other that whole shift again.
Okay, let's do it.
And they each received 5 minutes for fighting.
A lot of respect for each other, though, too, don't they? They're not going to let the other guy set up.
Well, they're both gone for 5. Razor is doing it with his fists and his scoring touch tonight, as he, in his second fight, and has scored a goal. Tom Rennie, hockey team shorthanded. He was telling us how well his team has taken to his defensive style. They haven't scored as many goals as at this time last year, but they've cut their goals against by 22.
Shoveled out to center ice. It's knocked free and brought right back by the Canucks. It'll be broken up at the blue line. Scooped in the other direction. This is going to make its way down the ice, and it'll be counteract icing as Joseph picks it up. No, I didn't think so, but the linesman did, and the linesman wins.
Randy Burridge continues his fine play on this line with Jason Daw and Mike Pekka. Burridge is a player that Buffalo will turn to late in the game or late in the period if there's a face-off in the Buffalo zone and they need a winger who can move the puck out of the end. And Burridge is particularly good at pucks coming around the boards. Now this line of Ridley and Burridge back on the ice, and of course Buffalo stays with the line of Pekka, Burridge, and Jason Daw.
Canucks holding it in. Long shot. Hashik picked that one off as Joseph let it rip. Daw picks it up. That one just got away from Randy Burridge because he had Pekka going with him. Canucks will recover again. Rolling around behind the net. Jelena, he can dangle. Jelena rips it off the boards now. Shannon catching up with it. Shannon swinging behind the net. Fired it right up the middle. Starting away, it flipped in over the line to Daw, trying to get in on goal, but Fountain played it away. Flip to Bure, going in the other direction. Wilson pinches in to keep it in there, and Burridge going after it now. Burridge turning on the wall. He got back, and Pekka couldn't pick it up. It was in his skates. Carried by Ridley and over the line to Bure. Feeds it across. Gentleman's shot went off the skate wide of the net. Ridley comes up with the puck. He tipped it over on the other side. Sabres can't get it out as Wooten keeps it in. Flopping with Pekka. Down to the boards it comes again, and Wooten knocks down Pekka out of the play, and back after it is Ridley. Ridley circles, cuts in front of his own net, and Grosek almost stole it away. Now to Lume. He tapped it ahead. Bure couldn't catch up with it in time. Back goes Barnaby. Barnaby cruises away at center, dances away from Tikkanen. Tips it in over the line, racing after the puck. Lume got in front of him. Sabres holding it in. Back it goes to Lume again. And Barnaby is mixing it up with Wooten for the second time in the game. Moved to the Buffalo blue line. Recovered by the Sabres Zhitnik. Zhitnik gets into Vancouver territory. Flipped in front. Shot is steered away by Fountain. The backhand is flipped out to center ice. Tikkanen with a pass up the middle, trying to get it to Naslund. It's played away by the goaltender. Now work to Derek Plant. Plant scoots right back again. Lines up and drills a shot right on, and Fountain picks that one out of the air and hangs onto it. And now some shoving going on at the edge of the goal crease, but the linesmen have things well in hand. Vancouver still in the lead by 1.
In the second intermission, we'll have an interview with who?
Pavel Bure.
Thank you very much. We'll also go back to the Empire Studios for Hockey Hotline, and Rick and Jim will have their analysis. Let's go back upstairs.
I think she wanted to get on the air, too. I can't believe Dennis.
She should have just grabbed the microphone.
I know, sure. Yeah. He's not that big. If she wants to come up here, we'll put her up.
Well, he could have had him say Pavel, and she could have said Bure.
Right. There you go. Under 4 minutes, or a little over 3 minutes, I beg your pardon, remaining in the second period. Swung off the board. Shannon holding it in. Dished it back into the corner. Recovered by O'Coin. He got it around on the other side, and Buchner came over to bump Ojek. He got Gino's attention. Slipped up in the wing. Ward's pass through center, kicked in over the line. Holzinger! Holzinger to lock, and he scores!
Well, the speed of Buffalo starting to show here in the second period. Great breakout play by Dixon Ward. And watch this move as Holzinger puts down the defenseman and Donald Adet sweeps it into the top corner. And Gino Ojic has got to tie up the stick of Donald Adet, and he couldn't do it. And the Buffalo Sabres have tied it with 2 goals here in the second.
An interesting point. Gino Ojic and Donald Adet, former junior teammates.
Boy, that was a nice play. And Dixon Ward began it. Donald Adet finished it.
The Sabres have wiped out a 2-goal margin now. Kick free at center ice and finally cranked in by Joseph. Chris Joseph catching up with the puck again. Watched by Plant. Deals it across. And away goes Sellinger. Sellinger to the Buffalo line. Groshek took it away to Plant. Looking it ahead for Barnaby. Barnaby racing after it, but getting there first is Hedican. Now it's cleared back to center ice. Kicked down and brought by Joseph in over the line. He got squeezed out by Groshek. Shipnick feeding it off to the corner. A bouncing puck. Swept free to the blue line and out. Canucks will get it right back again. A couple of minutes remaining in the period. Floated in wide to the corner. McKee swings it ahead, but not out. Plant catches up with the puck, guides it through center ice. Barnaby catches up with it. Barnaby in over the line. Getting around Louvet with a shot on the short side. Mountain held his position. Pekka holding it in now. Working it to the corner to Groshek, who gets knocked down. And Vancouver steering it through the middle and back into the Buffalo end. Zhitnik curling around in his own end. Works it to Shannon. Shannon banks it off the boards, but Lume took it away. Now Shannon picks it out of the air to Zhitnik. Zhitnik tipping it up on the wing. That's knocked down. Canucks bringing it back in again. Pass into Bure with a shot. Went off the skate wide of the net. Shelona races in there to Ridley. Looking out in front. And the shot right on. Hasek the save right on the goal line. Bure got the shot away. Hasek got a piece of it, then spun around and flopped on it before it could cross the goal line.
You see what Dominic did, though? He made the signal with his trapper that it was not a goal. But boy, was that close. And the referee appeared to be in a position to agree with Dominic Hasek. Now the rule states that the entire puck must cross the goal line. Watch this. As Hasek has the puck go between his pads and almost kicks it totally across the line with his skates. Now watch Hasek. Watch as he waves his glove and says, no, it's not in the net. And they are going to review this.
Well, they can review it till the cows come home, because it certainly looks like it's sitting right on the line.
And Hasek reaches back with his blocker and grabs it.
The red light did not go on either. I think we should make that point.
Boy, that's close.
You're darn right it is.
That's awfully
no
close.
Goal. No goal.
I'll bet you half the puck was over the line, but that's not good enough.
Not enough.
No, sir. No, it didn't take him long, and it's no goal.
So applause of relief here in the Marine Midland Arena, and the score remains tied. Shot from the point is right on. Hasek makes the save as Rolene let her rip. Get back to center ice. Jammed ahead. Burridge could not catch up with it, but it's swung in by Wilson. Bucks caught up with it again, and boy, oh boy, did 27 of Buffalo ever take a run at 27 of Vancouver. Pekka against Rolene. The Bucks coming after it again, working it up along the boards. Squeeze free to center ice. Wilson takes it back. Wilson still fighting for it, gets some help. It's jammed away and inside the Buffalo line, where Shannon helps it out again. Semenov took a whack at it, got it up to Pekka. Whoops, fired it right into his own bench.
Well, he almost picked off Trefilov, and I think that's Jim Pizzatelli at the end of the Buffalo bench. That was a close one.
Well, if you get a chance, you can call Hockey Hotline during this period to speak with Brian Blessing and Mike Robitaille. One caller is going to be chosen to discuss Sabres hockey during this upcoming intermission, which is only 32.2 seconds away.
Now here's a big shift now for Buffalo as the clock shows 32 seconds to go. Brewery's on the ice. And the Sabres must be thinking defense at this point.
Turning his Hedican. And his pass eludes everybody, goes down the ice, and now the Sabres can play offense. 20 seconds to go in the period, and the face-off in the Canuck end.
That was a pretty weak effort to try and touch that puck, though, as the icing is called, and a face-off back in the Vancouver zone. Pavel Bure, interesting story about his father, was quite a great athlete in Russia and represented the Soviet Union in swimming at the 1968, 72, and 76 Olympics. I would assume that Pavel's a pretty good paddler, too.
Brashear and Ray escaped the confines of the penalty box, but head to their respective benches. Holzinger will try and win this draw and get it back to the point if he can. Taking it against Ridley. Ridley taps it into the corner. Again, couldn't catch up with it. Jelena pinched in by McKee. They wrestled for it again, and it goes to Bure, and then Shitnik fell. Back on his feet again. Bure in over the line. A backhand knocked away. He ties up his check along the boards. That's Jelena. They slap at it again as they close the period. And Jelena takes a look around as he was knocked down by Ward. And so the second period is history.
Well, give the Sabres full marks. Never say die. They paddled back against Vancouver, as we've seen them often do, and managed to tie this game despite not really playing a solid defensive game.
And the Vancouver Canucks at one point in the second period were up by 2, 3-1, but Buffalo came surging back, and it's all even at 3 on Empire. Going to crunch the Cigna numbers again here, and you find that it's relatively close, and certainly the score is very much so.
Well, the scoring chances are something the coaches, of course, observe. At 16-11, we have Vancouver in the lead. That's too many for the Canucks, I'm sure, from the Buffalo point of view. And in that second period, one of the guys who had a number of the scoring chances was Pavel Bure. He had 5 shots on goal. And Alex Zipnik was talking to me about Bure this morning, and Zipnik was saying, of course, he's so talented. Zipnik knows him from his time on the World Cup. But he said you really have to wait for Pavel. He says you cannot go directly at him, or he says he will make you look foolish.
Wilson swings it around on the boards, trying to work it out as Dahl took a bump, but got it up ahead for Shannon to Pekka. Pekka through the middle, and he couldn't get it over to Burridge. It'll end up back at center ice, where Shannon gobbles it up. To Wilson. Wilson swinging around, fires it up to Burridge, tipped in over the line, and Hennigan catches up with it in the corner. Hennigan trying to swing it away, didn't get it out, kept into Dahl, looking for Pekka, couldn't get it in front. Hennigan ended up on the boards, not out, kept in by Burridge again, but his shot hit a leg. And finally, it's cleared away to Bure. Buffalo trying to change. Bure, the long shot off Hasek and chipped around behind the net. Wilson knocked it down with his glove, but couldn't control it. Bure looking out in front, and he couldn't get it to Wotan. Wotan dropping it back to the point to Lume. Took his shot. Hasek snares that one, flings it into the corner, but the whistle had already gone. And let's get us downstairs and rejoin Dennis Williams.
Thanks very much. I just talked to assistant coach Paul Theriault, and he said this is one of those periods where it's going to test the character of this team. He knows they haven't played the best hockey tonight, but they can still win it. They should win it in this building. It's all going to be on their character.
Now, they certainly showed their character on the most recent 4 games in 5 nights, didn't they? When they went into Long Island, and too many people gave them a chance to win that game, and they beat the Islanders, their 4th game in 5 nights. And that's something I don't think anyone should ever question on the Sabre hockey team.
Canucks keeping it in with the long shot, and that one just missed. Held in there by Wotan, tapped behind the net. Vancouver still putting the pressure on, though, early here in the third. Swinging around Naslund. Drops it off to Tikkanen. Tikkanen cleared it through the goal crease. Ward hustles after the puck. Lunged in front of it and managed to knock it out over the blue line. But Lume gets it right in again to Naslund. Sillinger with a shot, and Hasek goes down and blocks that one. And Vancouver is starting very quickly here in the third period.
Yeah, that's not exactly what Buffalo had in mind here tonight. Dominic Hasek coming up with a couple of big saves early. Well, you should have seen the scene in the dressing room this morning, partner, when the people from the pad company were in town. Dominic has new pads, new blockers, and new catching glove. Here's that quick shot. Look, no rebound, though. Hasek controls it, and they had Rip Simonic had the measuring stick out. They were measuring the pads, and What a scene that was.
Well, it's going on everywhere around the
I'll tell
NHL, right? December the 15th is D-Day. Kept in at the point now and rocketed off into the corner by Rolling. That'll be banked back into the net, but it's kept in there by Brashear. He turns, scores! Somehow that one gets by Hasek. And the Vancouver Canucks have again taken the lead in this game. Less than 2 minutes into the third period, they're up by 1.
Well, the fighters score tonight. Rob Ray back in the second period, and now Donald Brashear scores his third goal of the year as he catches Dominik Hasek in a mental lapse. Just a quick shot, bounces off the skate of Jay McKee and goes into the net. And boy, there have been some strange ones tonight. I thought for a moment Dominik Hasek perhaps fell asleep on that play, but I correct myself. That puck glanced in off of Jay McKee, and Hasek really didn't have a chance at it.
Well, the Canucks again forcing the play in the Buffalo end. Shoveled by Ojic around on the boards to roll in. He elects to shoot and then gets taken down by Barnaby, who may have gotten away with one. Barnaby's still all over Rolin and knocks him down again. Finally comes free, and it's set up on the wing to Groshek. Groshek trying to get it in front, couldn't get it to Barnaby. Got the rob behind the net. Rolls back into the corner. Ojic recovering. Ojic is fires center ice. Plant stripped him of the puck. Eric Plant hauled off it himself, taps it back, and it's gunned across to McKee. And then he gives it away to Hedican, but Hedican had to wait for Brashear to get onside. Get back behind the net. Rolled around on the boards again. The Sabres get an opportunity to clear the zone. The pass was behind Ray. Picked up by Seamack. Seamack elects to send it in, just missing the linesman. And left it there, came right in front of the net. Shot just went wide. Buffalo very loose in their own end. Back at center ice now, a chance. Shaw can't get away, or Brown, I beg your pardon. It's flipped back through the middle. Brought to the line again, and cutting through the middle was Shannon to step into Crowder. Fired off the boards to Ray. Ray sending it up the middle. Now a chance for Buffalo again. Back it comes with Shannon. Shannon dealing one in off the glass. Flipped into the corner. Brown trying to hold it in there. Ray goes sailing in as well. Around on the other side. Vancouver coming back. Pass up the middle. Swung over on the wing, but Wilson breaks it up. And Pekka lost his balance and went down. Here's a long pass that's picked off by Bugner. Bugner flipped it in over the line, but he gave it away, and boy, is it sloppy right now. Pass ahead, ends up in behind the Vancouver net. Left there for Hedican. Hedican swinging it ahead. That'll be chipped to Jelena. Jelena deals it in over the line to Ridley. He'll tap it off into the corner. McKee going after it, knocks it away from Jelena. Ridley keeping it in. Ridley turning again, stuffs it into Jelena, out of Jure. Jure circles around, cuts back into the slot, still with the puck, drops it off. Sending behind the net, Hasek helps it around on the boards, but can't get it out. Canucks keeping it in. Jure's long shot, and that one will sail up into the seats. A little over 4 minutes, pulling them gone by here in the third. Canucks on top.
Drink Bud Ice, but beware the Penguins.
Our overhead camera telling the story on the go-ahead goal by Donald Brashear. As Hasek was moving across to the right, the puck glanced off a Buffalo skate and went between the legs of the Buffalo goaltender. 4-3 Canucks, but plenty of time. 15:40 to go here in the third.
Oakman whipping the puck in. Shipnick got it around to Audette. Failed to get it out. Tikkanen was right on it. Audette steals it back again off the glass into center ice. Lume covering up. Lume looks for some skating room. He slips in over the line, leaves it back at the point, and the shot deflects high in the air. Bang back in the corner. McKee took a shove into the wall by Tikkanen. Audette tapping it across ice. The pass for Holzinger too far. Went right through the goal crease, and the Goaltender. Wow. Mountain took a bit of a chance there by letting it go. It is icing, but it's a good thing that Lume got there first.
It sure was a good thing for Vancouver. The Buffalo Speed, a Holzinger tracking Lume down in the zone. And often a rookie goaltender on a play like that will touch the puck and shoot it away. But Lume got there first in a faceoff back in the Sabres zone. Shots on goal now. The Canucks have started quickly here in the third. And I wonder if Ted Nolan wouldn't want to call a timeout and give his troops a quick talking to here in the third.
Grosek trying to come up with it and does. Buffalo coming back with Plant through center ice, squeezes it in over the line, then got held up. It's tapped free, but Grosek gets it back. He leaves it there to Plant. Plant turns it around behind the net. Barnaby got tripped up. Plant's there again. Took his shot, didn't get through. Grosek couldn't come up with the puck. And it's sent away to center, up on the wing now for Brashear. Hasek comes out to heel it back into the corner. Key took a bump, sending it around to the other side for Grosek. He'll tap it off. Turned around to Barnaby, but Brashear steps in, got in there in front of it, came to Ojek. Ojek turning around, he dealt it right through the goal crease. Picked up by Buffalo's Barnaby, coming back again. Barnaby into Vancouver territory, squeezes it into Plant, he chipped it wide of the net. Grosek trying to catch up with the puck, can't do it. Vancouver coming back again, 2-on-2. And over the line and going wide is Crowder, cutting in with a shot, he scores! Boy, Crowder, and you talk about the battle they're scoring in a hockey game, holy mackerel! And Vancouver's back in front by 2 again.
Now the Buffalo Sabres are being outworked here in the third period. And this is just a poor play by Mike Wilson as Crowder steps around him. Will you stop it right here? See this? Mike Wilson does not have position, and Crowder goes right around the outside and beats Dominik Hasek. And the Vancouver Canucks, who are supposed to be dead tired, have got more step in their legs than the Buffalo Sabres do here in the third, and they now have a 2-goal lead.
Well, they've been in front by 2 before. Buffalo came back to tie it up, but now 14 minutes left on the clock. Trying to fish for the puck on the boards. Get it. That's keeping it in. Walker chopping away at it. Shannon takes it back. Slipping behind the net. Worked it to the other side. It's tapped back inside Vancouver territory. Fired right back out again to Joseph. Goes for the corner. Hedican trying it up in there. Brown trying to come up with the puck. Lost it. Taken back by Seaman. Around behind the net. And Hedican starts away. He gets checked at center ice by Semenon. Bugner dealing it across ice, accepts a return pass and fires it up on the wing. Ray trying to get away from Walker. It'll be knocked down by Vancouver again with Joseph tipping it across. Buffalo changing up. Ray took a run at his check, failed to connect. Flip back in again, going wide of the net. This is going to be another icing against Buffalo.
Again, I go back to the point that I made in the second period and before the third period began. The Sabres must get the puck through the neutral zone and get it in deep on Vancouver and work their defense. That's where the game is going to be won. Most of the play has been in the Buffalo zone. So instead of trying to carry it into the Vancouver end of the rink, shoot it in and play a dump and chase game against the Canucks.
Who would have thunk before tonight's game if somebody had said to you that goals would be scored by Ray, Brashear, and Crowder? There's Daw now to the Vancouver line. He lost possession. That's going to be an offside. Indeed it is. Less than 13 to go here in the third period. The Canucks are back up by 2.
Hockey players from Williamsville North who are passing out some special certificates. What are you guys here for?
We're here passing out coupons, $2 coupons for the Punch Imlek Memorial Tournament, which is featuring some junior all-star teams from around the world, including the Russian junior all-star team and Niagara University.
And that tournament is on December 30th, so if you see these kids in the jerseys, pick up a ticket. Let's go back upstairs.
Here's a chance now on the outside. Pekka tried to get a shot on, but it was partially blocked by Woken. Back along the boards, ends up being swept inside the Buffalo area. McKee catches up with it. By Jelena. Backed around on the board for Burridge. Burridge starting away. Pekka. He started to win, and then he had to hold up so he wouldn't go offside. Cut back into the corner again. Vancouver swinging it back through the middle. Burridge broke it up, but the Canucks carry on as Ridley comes in over the line. Ridley then gets hammered by Pekka cutting through the middle. Daw trying to catch up with the puck. Did. It bounced behind him, however, and ends up at center ice. Zhitnik takes it back. Zhitnik stuffed it in over the line, only to have Lume cover up. Buffalo making a change. Jelena swings it ahead into the corner, and Audette charges back after it. Vancouver changes up. Here's Donald Audette cutting back through the middle again. Gets in over the line, trying to cut in on goal, got knocked down, and a penalty coming up here to Vancouver. And Shannon hit one of the Vancouver players. The puck goes to center, and as soon as it's controlled by Naslund, the whistle goes.
Boy, how do you like that for some speed? Donald Audette trying to go coast to coast is tripped up as he cuts in across the Vancouver line, and there have not been many minor penalties called in this game. Donald Audette, here comes the penalty as a coin takes him down to the ice and goes to the box.
Well, the Buffalo News Pizza Hut Value Night's a great way to save. Enjoy 4 tickets to select Sabres games, 2 souvenir pucks, dinner for 4 at Pizza Hut, including a large pizza, breadsticks, and a pitcher of soda. All of that for $69.95. And the next Pizza Hut Value Night, December 20th.
So a very important power play for the Buffalo Sabres with 11:48 to go here in the third. They're down by 2 goals, 5-3. And Derek Plant, Grosek, and Audette go up front. And Grosek's had a very good game tonight for Buffalo. And now they make a change as Holzinger steps to the center position and Plant goes back to play point with Alex Zhitnik.
Well, couldn't catch up with it off the face-off, and it'll be floated down the ice by Joseph. Plant. He swings it away by getting it right up the middle to Grosek. Tapping one off into the corner. Yet hustles in there. A fight for the puck along the wall. Taken away by Holzinger. Holzinger looking for an open man. Stuffs it down low. Get to Holzinger again. Zhitnik, one-timer! Score! Alexei Zhitnik ripped it from the point. I believe it was deflected in front of the net, maybe by Grosek. But Buffalo on the power play is back to within 1.
Well, I will go back to my point of shooting the puck in. It was a terrific shoot-in by Michael Grosek, and the Sabres gained possession of the puck right here. Watch. There's the shoot-in, perfectly done to the corner, and Buffalo outnumbers the Vancouver Canucks in the corner, and this is the result of that shoot-in by Grosek. A hard slap shot that is tipped into the net by, I believe, Grosek, who was the player who shot it into the Canucks zone to start the play.
Well, you said it was an important power play, and it paid off. One goal separating the clubs again. Buffalo has never led in this game. Now it's kept in, and a quick shot is right on. Barnaby let it go. Sabres holding it in again. Tap back into the corner. Plant gets tied up. Still chopping away at the puck, however. Came to the blue line, not out. Another rattle at it, and ends up going to Bure. Bure circles back into his own end. Now he drops it off. Left there for Ridley. Ridley spins around. 3 Sabres are inside the Vancouver zone. Finally get out. It came to center ice. And it'll be scooped ahead, recovered by Wilson. Trying to get it to Barnaby. Barnaby picked it free and now turns at center ice. And Barnaby looks for skating room, gets in over the line and gets squeezed out. So the sticks come up momentarily. Barnaby and Ridley, and Bure was involved, but not for long. The officials are in there. They'll settle things down.
Well, Matt Barnaby trying to stick handle his way into the zone and could not get by Pavel Bure. And I do not believe penalties will be called on this play, as not yet anyways. Barnaby continues the discussion. The Sabres haven't forgotten, don't think for a moment, have forgotten Bure putting Gary Galley out of this game back in the first period, as Bure left his skates and elbowed Galley. Galley has suffered a mild concussion, will not return tonight.
Buffalo, of course, has to play again Friday and Saturday night. Friday here against Anaheim, Saturday in Hartford.
Now Mike Grosek gets credit for the goal, so indeed he did deflect that shot from Alex Zipnik. And Grosek has the 2nd of the night, 6th of the year. And for my money, he's been the best Buffalo Sabre on the ice tonight.
Zipnik will smack one in, tipped around the boards. McKee tried to hold it in, take another whack at it, but it ends up at center ice. Now brought in over the line by Naslund. Naslund left it there, dropped it back, a penalty to Buffalo. Rebound, came out in front, another shot is kicked away, and Ray and Tikkanen are separated.
Well, this is going to be a penalty to Jay McKee for knocking down Esa Tikkanen as the play moved into the Buffalo zone. Clearly an interference call, and the referee happened to be very near where the infraction took place, so he did not miss it. And Vancouver with a chance now on the power play with 10:13 to go. Now there's Jay McKee, number 74. And watch on the bottom of the screen, he gets tangled up with Tikkanen, and they both go down, but McKee goes to the box. So, will Ted Nolan instruct his penalty killers to go offensive if they have the opportunity? I think so.
Fair amount of time left, though. Only halfway through the 3rd period. A long shot to score! O'Coin let the shot go and camped in front of the net. Was Tikkanen, I don't know whether he touched it or not, but there they go, and Vancouver's right back in front by 2 on the power play.
Boy, oh boy, we have seen more deflections tonight, off of sticks, off of skates, off of face-off. This play develops, and O'Coin just throws the puck to the net. That's him there, number 6.
They're looking at it again, partner.
And he just tosses it to the front.
He's in the crease.
And Tikkanen appeared to be in the Buffalo crease. You're right. And it doesn't take much to get the call to go against you. Let's look at the overhead replay as the referee checks with the video replay. I don't know.
No, I don't think so.
He was for a moment, but I don't think he is now. No, I believe that goal ought to stand. And Tikkanen was the Vancouver player who deflected the shot by Hasek. And even if one skate is in the goal crease, it is disallowed.
Which we don't necessarily agree with and have not agreed with. If it doesn't involve their play, we wouldn't think it would, but...
Well, it is a goal.
Yep.
And it should be a goal, as we speculated. Esa Tikkanen scores on the power play, and the Canucks lead 6-4.
Now, this has been a seesaw battle.
Watch at the top of the screen as a coin just fires the puck to the front. Tikkanen deflects it in.
And the Canucks are up by 2 again, halfway through the 3rd period. Right up! Dished across, tipped up on the boards now, and Bugner tried to knock it back in, does, but Daw was trapped in there. That's offside.
Boy, this is a game, and you're down there on the ice, a forward or defenseman, any opportunity, you just get the puck to the front of the net, because strange things are happening here tonight. I'm trying to think. The Canucks have scored at least 4 goals, and I can remember 3 that have gone in off skates, and then 1 deflection here by Tikkanen of their 6 goals.
Could not get away. Vancouver recovers, squeezing it up the middle. That'll be tapped up in the wing. Swept in over the line by Naslund, who tried to feed it in front. A nice effort, but it didn't work out. Kicked around behind the net. Zipnik is there. Zipnik starts back. He drills it up ahead, in over the line to Pekka. Pekka tried to get it in front, didn't see the puck, came back to Bugner, holds it in to Pekka again. Pekka then lost control of the puck, and Naslund works it through the neutral zone. Canucks are changing. Zipnik trying to come back, gets it in over the line. Game in front of the net, the backhand scoots off into the corner. They hack away at it again. That squirts up in the air and goes right out of play. Just a little over 9 minutes remaining in the third period.
So Esa Tikkanen scores his 5th of the season on the power play from Adrian Aucoin at 9:53. And the Sabres will be checking the clock constantly. It shows 9 minutes 17 seconds to go in regulation. Tikkanen with his 5th goal of the year. He was acquired last year from New Jersey for a 2nd rounder and scored 36 points in 38 games for the Canucks.
That'll be squeezed through the middle, and Shannon will have to charge back after it. There's Yellowknife right on him. Shannon working around to Audette, hacked at the puck, couldn't get it by Ridley. Shannon tips it around in the other direction, but Yellowknife keeping it in there. Back for Ridley again. Ridley got it out in front, and it jumped right to Audette. He lets it go to Holzinger. Holzinger leaving it along the board, scoop free, but not out. Ridley keeping it in, back to the point, the shot right on, juggled and held by Ashik. Less than 9 to go in the third. Vancouver up by 2. Ready for the face-off in the Buffalo zone. 8:46 left on the clock here in the third period. Canucks have never trailed in this game, have never led by more than 2, and that's the margin they're ahead by right now. Oshie trying to kick it free, couldn't do it. And the shot is handled by Hasek for Wilson. Wilson gets checked back there by Buray. Got it out in front. That's knocked down. Now Ridley's backhand, and it's tipped free and comes to center ice. Sabres will bring it back again. They knock it in front of the net, but Jelena got in front of Plant. Rolled around on the boards and sent to Ridley. Up to Buray. Too far for him. Recovered and worked back to the blue line as Derek Plant attempts to get away. The referee fell. In over the line to Barnaby. Barnaby doesn't shoot. Got another chance, and it dribbles in right on Fountain, who clears it off. Canucks using the glass, don't get it out. Shannon rips it right back in. Fountain scrawled and made the save, and now Vancouver rattling it down the ice.
Now, how about these statistics? Our crack statistician Ray Orange has informed us that Vancouver had been 3 for 33 on their power play, but tonight are 2 for 2. They've had 2 shots in a total of 12 seconds on the power play. Each goal took 6 seconds. How do you beat that?
I can't think of any way other than pushing the wrong button.
Pretty impressive, I guess.
Yeah.
You've never pushed the wrong button, I suppose.
Oh boy. Here's Semenoff trying to take the draw now. Back to the point it comes. Yipnik fires one, and Fountain makes the save. And high in the air through center ice. Yipnik catching up with it. Reach back there. Got it up on the wing. Semenoff can't get it out. Tikkanen keeping it in. It's way wide. And it ends up curling all the way down to Mike Fountain again. Got it as fire center. There's Yipnik scooting it over to McKee. McKee tipping it back in the other direction. Burridge trying to churn away at center. He'll feed one off. And Fountain plays it behind the net. Burridge attempting to keep it in there. Cleared out in front. Daw couldn't catch up with the puck. Shannon holds it in. Tried to clear it in front again, but it's broken up. And swept away through center, wide of the Buffalo net. Hasek will hook it up on the wing to Bugner. Bugner flipping a pass now and over the line to Burridge. He leaves it back there for Bugner. Bugner charging after the puck again, trying to work it into the corner, but it's taken away by Roberts. He got it out to center. David Roberts picks it off again for the Canucks and swirls around in his own end. As he comes through center, the long shot. Hasek knocks it down to Bugner. Tipping it in the other direction, but it's kept in by Brashear. Back to Roberts again. Here's Roberts. He fired it over top of the net. And they chop at it again, and then ends up being gloved out to center by Ward. Cross for Brashear. Brashear pumping with Bugner in over the line. They do some shoving. And it ends up at center ice. Brashear knocks it free. Tapped right back in again. Shannon catches up with it. Shannon behind the net. Worked it around on the boards. Audette spears it free. Here's Donald Audette working in over the line, going to the outside. Couldn't get it in front of the net. Took a little whack at it, but gets taken out. The long shot is kicked away from in front from Ward. And back comes Vancouver again. Less than 6 to go on the clock now. Tipped in over the line. Tipped in and stuffed back behind the Buffalo net. Shitnik comes up with it. Shitnik with a pass through the middle. That's got knocked down. And the Canucks recover again with Hedican. Looking it across ice, ends up back at center ice. McKee turning. McKee starting away. Whoop one in. That'll go wide of the net. Roche hustling in there after it, but goes around to the other side. Recovered by Hedican. Hedican jams it on the board. They're keeping it in. Behind the net again. Trying to get it out in front. Barnaby's all by himself out there, but it's taken back by Hedican. Hedican swinging it around to Bure. Bure eludes a check thrown at him by Barnaby, and it goes all the way down, goes through the goalpost. There's no icing. Time is running out on Buffalo. Less than 5 to go in the third period. Long pass at center now. Goes off Barnaby and slides all the way back to Wotan. We'll try and tip it out. Can't do it. Now it's chipped off the board. Shannon holding it in. Pekka got it in front of the net, but stolen back onto Shannon's stick at center ice. He'll leave it there, then get it right back again. Errol Shannon whipping it through the middle. Daw in over the line. Daw goes wide around Lume, and Lume recovers. In behind the net. Daw's got it again. Tried to curl out in front. Jason Daw keeping it in. Dumps it off in the corner. It's recovered by Ridley, who bumps with Burridge. Ridley twisting and turning back there. Came out in front of the net, but it goes all the way to Jelena with Bure. Bure picks it up at center ice, waiting for his teammates. And now he elects to go around the outside. Bure spinning again. Here's Bure turning, and he flipped it in behind the net. Hasek takes it away. Jelena gets knocked down by Pekka. Pass comes to center. It's jammed in over the line. Pekka racing after it. The shot. He scores! It home, and it's a one-goal game again.
Well, as Rick mentioned, Pekka stayed with this play and scores his 5th goal of the year. As the puck was bouncing into the Vancouver zone, Pekka raced between the 2 defensemen and picked it up and beat the goaltender. The speed of Buffalo and the Vancouver defense could not contain Michael Pekka. And you can see the puck rolling, standing up on end, and he still managed to put it into the net. And folks, don't go away.
No.
We still have 3:48 to go, and the Canucks up by 1 now.
Well, and that's not much when you consider 11 goals have been scored in this game. Rolling, getting rid of it. He'll tap it back through center ice. Bugner recovering the puck, and it's swept ahead for Audette. He'll slip it in over the line. Canucks to recover again. Off the glass. Bugner knocks it down at center ice. Bumps with the referee right in front of the penalty box. Ward trying to knock it free. There's some jamming there along with Tikkanen. Whistled right back in again by Holzinger. Left in the corner to a coin. He can't get it out. Sabres trying to hold it in and do. Back at the point. Came to the blue line and out, however. Now it's jammed free to Tikkanen and broken up neatly by Holzinger. Tikkanen after it again. Tikkanen jammed it in over the Buffalo line. The Sabres get it back. Long pass up in the wing, but nowhere near Audette. And this will come back on an icing call with less than 3 to go in regulation. And the Vancouver Canucks in front by 1, 6-5 here in the third period on Empire.
Now Michael Pekka gives Buffalo a chance as he scores his 5th goal of the season. And the Sabres with 2:55 remaining in regulation to tie this game. Pekka with a goal and an assist tonight.
For a guy who was a go-for starter.
Wasn't going to play.
And the puck comes to center, and a bust in over the line is Barnaby, cutting in the shot. Fountain sprawls and makes the save. Rebound in front. He scores! Michael Groshek. Groshek handles the rebound. He clicks it in, and the Buffalo Sabres have roared back to tie this game at 6 with 2:43 still left on the clock.
began off a set play in a face-off in the Buffalo zone. And Mike Grosek finishes it off at the other end. Watch what happens. Matthew Barnaby, stop it right there, just took off from this position and picks up the puck off the boards. And Mike Grosek is going to end up with the puck in front of the net and deflected by the goaltender. But that play began off a set play up the face-off in the Sabres zone, and it ends up in the net. Grosek has a hat trick tonight.
And the hats were in evidence on the ice.
Boy, Matthew Barnaby almost beat the goaltender on this play. That was a great save, and then Mike Fountain doesn't get any help. The puck was given away by David Roberts as he put it right back to the Buffalo defense, and Grosek put it in.
Oh, what a wild
game.
Oh, brother. 2:43 left on the clock.
We were due for one of these.
I guess you're right. That'll be a long shot, and that one skipped off. She just got a piece of it. Watch with Ridley covering up. Ridley circling around in his own end. Didn't get it out. Fulton went down to the ice, and the Canucks yelling for a penalty against Buffalo. Shoveled into the corner. Jelena trying to catch up with it. Shannon gets there first. Brings it around on the boards. Cannot get it out. Tap free, and finally worked to the blue line and out to center. It's cleared ahead. Here's Dahl with Pekka. Dahl trying to cut in. Took his shot. Off the save. Recovered by Pekka. He couldn't get it out in front. Dahl gets knocked down. He's on his knees behind the net trying to play the puck. And at it again. Here's free to Burridge. Burridge swings it back to the point. Shannon let his shot go. Mountain cleared that off the board. Kept in with Pekka. Sending it to Burridge in the corner again. Burridge swinging around. Got it out in front. Shannon couldn't reach the puck. Olsen keeping it in. Now the Canucks pick it up and they just fire it down the ice to take the pressure off. So this will be icing against Vancouver. And a face-off to the left of goaltender Mike Fountain with 1:38 remaining in regulation time here at the Marine Midland. The Sabres have never led in this hockey game. They have come from behind numerous times and finally have deadlocked it again on Mike Grosek's third goal of the night. And Holzinger now goes to center with Adet and Dixon Ward. Wilson and Zhitnik will play the points. The Canucks have yet to establish their lineup as Sillinger is at the bench getting some new lumber. Now he'll move back into position to take the face-off against Holzinger. A little over a minute and a half left in regulation. Kept into Ward in the corner. Ward looking in front of the net. The shot right on! And Fountain makes the save on Adet. Off another face-off. Donald Adet, a point-blank scoring chance on a neat setup from Dixon Ward. Watch the Buffalo winning the face-off. We can stop it right there. As Donald Adet fought his way to the front, Dixon Ward is going to feed the puck in through that area. And watch Adet get in position. Boy, wasn't that a great job of getting in position to score a goal as he fought off the check but couldn't beat the goaltender. Chris Joseph just couldn't handle him, and now Joseph is replaced. And wait a minute, we got somebody calling a timeout here. I would not be surprised. You mentioned before that that Ted Nolan should maybe consider calling a timeout. At this point in time, I think it might belong to Vancouver, though. I would think so. I think Tom Rennie, he knows his club is just on their last legs and need every second of rest that they can obtain at this point. And the Sabres, Paul Terrio, giving his troops a bit of a pep talk. But the face-off will be to the right of the Vancouver net with a minute and a half remaining. Well, there were points in this game, and quite frankly, partner, where I wouldn't have given you a bug nickel for Buffalo's chances. No. I didn't think they were playing that well, but managed to have come from behind, and who knows how it's going to turn out. But well, that character and perseverance, again, that the Sabres are noted for is showing through in this hockey game. There's Tom Rennie on the right, Ted Nolan on the left.
have set the strategy. And now let's see if the players can carry it out. And Plant will take the draw for Buffalo. Sillinger for Vancouver.
Again, and Tikkanen doing a little fencing. Sillinger winning the draw, and it goes to the corner to Wharton. He got it around to Lume. Lume having difficulty getting it out. Plant was all over him. Back to Mark Wharton again. Out for Tikkanen. Tikkanen swings it across ice to Lume. He'll hit the Buffalo line, bring it in over the line. Got squeezed out, but kicks out of the hand to keep it in there. Hold around on the boards. Turned in by Naslund. That goes behind the net. Came out in front. Little leg kicked away, but not out. Back to the point. The long shot. Hasek makes the save. Shipman tips it around now to Ward. 3-on-2 Buffalo. Ward coming away to center. Gets in over the line. Hughes Ward tried to clear it in front. He couldn't get it to Audette. That's coming back again. Back at center ice. Tikkanen picks it up. He tips it over on the other side to Naslund, who gets checked. Tikkanen's got it again. We'll just rip one in as the teams make changes with time running out here in regulation. Shipnick helps it off the boards. Inside the line, racing after it with a shot is Becca, but he was upside as soon as he touched the puck.
And the faceoff will be back inside the Buffalo blue line with 32.7 seconds to go in regulation. 35 shots for Vancouver, 32 for Buffalo. Pekka Daw Burridge will play the last 32.7 seconds for head coach Ted Nolan.
To the boards and chipped to the blue line, not out. They hack at it again. It came out over the line. Ridley trying to flip it back in, but Sabres will take it away with Burridge. He gains center ice, punches one off into the corner. Dawn sailing in there. It's jammed around the board. Pekka cleared it across ice and went behind Burridge. Back to the point it comes. McKee fired one. It didn't get through. Sent off the boards, off McKee, out to center ice. McKee hustling back after it, and we're going to OT here at the Marine Midland Arena. Jelena got it in front as the siren ended play in regulation.
Well, a wild third period here at the Marine Midland, and give Buffalo full marks once again. Down and seemingly out, they battle their way back and now have a chance to win this game in overtime.
Well, the Sabres have been down by 2 goals on 3 occasions in this game, but have come back to knot it up, and we are going to OT on Empire.
Well, the Vancouver Canucks, Buffalo headed into overtime. The Canucks for the 6th time, the Buffalo Sabres for the 5th time. Donald Audette has been a hero 3 times in overtime. 3 career overtime goals, and Michael Grosche has been a hero once, and that was recently. His first overtime goal against the Boston Bruins a couple of weeks ago. He has the hat trick here tonight for Buffalo.
I think under most circumstances, partner, you'd say the home team wouldn't be happy with a tie. I think when you consider that Buffalo's been down by 2 goals on several occasions in this game, I don't think you're going to get too many arguments from the Sabres. They'd be pretty happy with a point tonight.
We hear that old cliche, there are good ties and bad ties, and this would be a good tie for Buffalo, and a good tie too for Vancouver. I think under the circumstances, with all the injuries that Tom Rennie has to deal with, some of his very best players out of the lineup, this is the 6th game of a road trip. They take a tie, even though they've had the lead so many times tonight.
But we have perhaps 5 minutes of hockey remaining, maybe less. We shall see. Pekka and Ridley. It's tapped back and goes to Shannon. We'll give it to Wilson. Fanned on it, then got it off the boards and out to center ice. That's covering up. Back through the middle again. That's broken up, but only knocked down by Jelena, and Bure is way offside. He had to clear his own. Wilson will have an opportunity to get it out, giving it to Shannon. Shannon gain his own line, leaves it back there to Wilson. Cross ice to Daw. Daw tipping it in over the line. Here's Pekka trying to cut in on goal. Right in the backhand. Rebound. Oh, and Burridge knocked it over top of the net. Daw after it again. Daw trying to rip it free. Around on the boards it comes. Pekka holds it in. Giving it to Burridge. Burridge twisting and turning and set. Dribbling back inside Buffalo territory. A great opportunity for the Sabres. Wilson feeding it ahead. Here's Shannon's pass going through center ice. Ward in over the line. Ward dumped it off into the corner to Audette. He took a whack at it. That goes right to Ward again. They can't control the puck and around on the other side. The Canucks sending it high in the air through center once more. Back over to McKee. McKee slipping it around behind the net. The return pass. Got it up in the wing. Audette can't get it out. Kept in there now by Sillinger. McKee got in front of his check. Tikkanen taken away. And McKee and Tikkanen were still fencing away. It finally goes to center ice. Tikkanen leaving it back there. It'll be gunned right back in again. She pokes it in front of the net. Lost control. Tipped it in the other direction. Well, it's tapped off the boards. Engulfed out to center by Audette. Right back in the other area. Now slipped up along the boards. And that ends up back at center ice. Sabres will make a change. Vancouver coming away again, and the pass missed everybody, went down the ice, and Tikkanen didn't even reach out to try and touch it. That's icing. 3 minutes left on the clock, or less.
And Derek Plant continues to lead his hockey club in scoring with 11 goals and 7 assists. He will be out there along with Matt Barnaby and Mike Grosek. This has been a big offensive line tonight for the Buffalo Sabres. Grosek with the hat trick. Give Tom Rainey credit. He's had Curry out there. Played him the last shift of the regular period. And now he hasn't been off the ice hardly at all here in the overtime.
I think I had a hockey player like him.
I'd get him out there too. Yeah, you're right.
Shots to you drop. Huh?
Well, the Sabres have done a good job against Curry, though, haven't they? He hit 5 shots in the second period. It really has not been a factor tonight.
Tapped around on the board. Shannon trying to keep it in. Gets tripped up. It ends up back at center ice. Clipped up ahead. That's broken up. Taken away by Plant. And then he gave it away. Jelena. I don't know what Martin was thinking. He just fired it down the ice. And he's disgusted with himself. I mean, he was the one who dumped it in. That's another icing.
Yeah, that. Jelena, I guess, thought one of his teammates was up around the blue line because that was totally unnecessary. How do you like the story though about Martin Jelena? I believe this happened last year when the Prime Minister of Canada was in attendance at the Vancouver Canucks game in Vancouver, and he said he had come, Jean Chrétien had come there to see Martin Jelena, who is from his hometown of Shawinigan, and he was all looking forward to this game, and they wanted to talk to him about politics, and he said, no, I want to see one of my hometown boys, Martin Jelena. And they finally said, Mr. Prime Minister, he's been scratched from the lineup tonight. He was quite disappointed, needless to say.
Back to Ottawa. Sabres trying to keep it in and chop it free. Comes to the blue line and out to center. McKee swinging it over to Shannon, being challenged by Bure. Here's Bure working in front, around behind the net. Hasek was there to take it away. Shannon got it around on the boards. That's deflected out through center ice again. Tap back in the other direction. 2 Canucks were inside the Buffalo zone. So they'll have to let McKee clear the zone. Got it to Plant. Plant whipping it across ice. In now. The pass into Barnaby. Puts it in on goal. Barnaby going after it in the corner again. Gets slowed down. Whip to the blue line and off Bugner back through center ice. That'll be taken away. Zhitnik cranks it ahead. Burridge couldn't get anywhere. A pass ahead and over the line. Jelena the long shot. Taken away to Bugner. Bugner behind the net. Gives it to Zhitnik. Zhitnik squeezing it up on the wing now. Will be brought to Vancouver territory by Doha, who was taken off the puck. Gunned around by a coin to the other side. Kika keeping it in. Back to the point. Zhitnik shot hit a leg. It came in front of the net. Kept in by Buffalo. In front of the net again. And getting knocked down. Now it's recovered by Tikkanen. The referee's going to let him play here. Away to center ice. Shoveled back across to Tikkanen again. The long shot. That gets blocked. Came in front. He scored! That one was swept into the net by Sillinger. And the Vancouver Canucks in overtime have won this game 7-6.
What a gallant performance by Vancouver as they get one opportunity here in the overtime, and Sillinger sweeps it by Dominic Hasek, and the Canucks win it by 7-6. the puck or the shot was taken. It hit a body in front of the Buffalo net, and Sillinger quickly jumped on the loose puck and beat Dominik Hasek. Watch the shot here by Tikkanen as it goes off the stick of Jay McKee, and Sillinger spins, or I beg your pardon, off the stick of Bugner, and Sillinger sends it between the legs of Dominik Hasek.
Well, as so often happens, one team seems to have all the good scoring opportunities, but the other club goes down the ice and eventually gets the one chance they need, and indeed Mike Sillinger proves it to be true. And the Vancouver Canucks in OT have defeated the Buffalo Sabres 7-6 here at the Marine Midland Arena tonight. Mike Sillinger is the hero on the left coast of Canada at this moment.